environment, you don't want to share your background, you have a lot going on, of course, we have our virtual backgrounds that you all can use. Once again, can I get a thumbs up if you understand all of these tips? I know we go through them week after week. Thanks, Ashley, Tasmina, Brittany, Pablo, everyone else. Thank you. Cool. All right, so as usual, in a minute, you're gonna get that pop-up notification to join a breakout room. Once you see that, you wanna make sure to click it. And yeah, if you find yourself alone in a breakout room for whatever reason, and you find that a few minutes have passed, please feel free to go back to the main room by clicking that lower right button on your Zoom menu. And then after cohort time, as a reminder, we will be returning to main room for whole group closeout. I will pass it over to Rosalind. How are breakout rooms looking?
All right, we're all set for breakout rooms. Just want to voice over, we have a couple of LC absences today, naming particularly for Phoebe and Kathy's cohort. We have an LC sub, so do not panic if you don't see them there. The subs will be taken over and facilitating for today's cohort time. For Kathy, I'm sorry, we already discussed Kathy. For Sarah, Solomon, and Samantha's cohorts, we've split you. So you'll be in a different LC group for today, but the lesson will continue as normal. And then I will be covering for Elise's cohort. All right, so I'm gonna open up rooms.
I do just want to add, if you find yourself in a different cohort because your LC is absent, you won't have access to the discussion board to share your cover letter, so you can drop it in the Zoom chat. That's another option. Just wanted to make that all call. Use the Zoom chat to your advantage too, to share your resumes or cover letters.
Okay. Thanks, Naomi. I'm going to open up rooms now.
Happy Thursday, everyone. My name is Frenda. I'll be subbing for Phoebe today. So give me just a second. I'll share my screen, okay? Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Before we get started, I want to apologize in advance. I have some workers, they're working on my roof. They were supposed to be finished yesterday, but it was a big storm. So I'm all the way down in the basement, but I can still hear them. So I do apologize. We can start today with Roses and Thorn. I can start. I'll give it to someone else, and then, you go, and then you add the next person, okay? My thorn is, it's snowing. Like, it's the first day of spring and it's snowing in Chicago. Like, we had maybe 3 good days. One was like 60 degrees, so we got tricked. So that's a thorn. That is snow on the ground. My rose is, it's Thursday and tomorrow's Friday. So I'm ready for the weekend. Can I get Giselle to go next?
Yeah, I can go. I would say my thorn is my lack of sleep because of exams, but my rose is that I've been getting pretty good grades on them, so I guess that cancels out.
Yeah,
do I pick someone?
Yes.
Pablo?
I would say I have the same thing. Like, my thorn is that I've been losing sleep because of exams, but I have been doing well on them. But I guess my rose is that spring break is coming soon for us, so that 1 week is gonna be nice and relaxing, I guess. And I'm gonna pick Hugo.
My thorn is that I have a lot of assignments and midterms. And my rose is that it's almost the weekend. And Jack.
My thorn is that I have had a very difficult time with my Spanish exams specifically, but my rose is that I feel very confident in most of my other classes, and I'm not super worried about any other midterms coming up.
Okay.
And I will pass it to Ayan.
Hey. I would say a thorn is. It's been a tough week with assignments and stuff. And I'd say roses. I had an event. I was in an event. It was a religious event. And I was part of it, and we actually pulled it very nicely. Yeah, most of it. Jack.
No, Jack called on you.
I just went. I passed it to you.
Oh, my bad. I thought I was the one with the camera. Hugo?
Hugo went. I think, is it Trina? Did Trina go?
Nah, so basically my thorn is, yeah, it's kind of like the same, not really getting enough sleep and stuff. But my rose is that I did do one of my midterms already, so that's well, I didn't get the grade back, but I got one done, so that's good.
That's good. When is spring break for you guys? When is spring break? Anybody?
Around, I think, like April 17th. I don't know, somewhere around there. I just know it's April something.
It's late. Y'all got a late one.
Pretty late, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
my.
right.
Poor babies. I'm going to be praying for y'all. Because I was thinking somebody was going to say next week, or the week after next. But the 17th, it'll be warm, though, So the sun will be out. So that's good. All right, guys. I'm wishing all of you guys the best on your midterms. I do understand, even though I'm 20 years plus a college graduate, what it was like for midterms. So I'm going to try my best to get through this activity, kind of make it a little fun for you guys. I know your minds are on your midterms and on sleeping. So let's get through it, okay? So today is kind of, I think it's a fun activity. I've subbed for a few cohorts with this Learning Lab 7, Polish Your Portfolio. And so it's focused on cover letters. And a quick question for you guys. Did you guys finish the cover letters? If not, it's okay. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to wrap up the end of this activity. So if you could put a thumbs up if you finished, so I can kind of count how many I got. And again, it is okay if you did not.
Unfortunately, I did not.
Okay. It looks like it's only 2 that finished, though.
I only just did, also. I've been working in the background at the start of the meeting.
Okay, so I know how to work it. So the last part of the activity, we won't, the last part was people sharing out your actual cover letters. But what I will do is, instead of doing that, in those last 15 minutes or so, I'll give you guys time to work on yours, which would be good because I'm going to show you some examples today. We're going to show you some really bad examples and then some really good ones. So with that information, I think you guys will be able to write really good cover letters. Okay. So it works out. I talk a little fast. So if you guys are New Yorkers though, so you used to it. I talk a little fast. So if you need me to slow down, you could at any time send a message to me in the chat, or you can just come off mute, like, slow down, Frenda. Okay. So basically today we're gonna act like we're hiring managers. Okay. So we're gonna be given an opportunity to look at a job description for, I believe it's a financial analyst, and kind of look at some of the key points that they're looking for. And then we'll look at four applicants. And from those 4, we're going to pick 2 that we think are the strongest to bring in for an interview. And then after that, we're going to look at the cover letters for those 2. We might be able to look at all 4 if we have time of the cover letters. And you guys are kind of be voting on who is the top 2. Okay, so it's kind of like really interactive. I'm not going to really go over why we start with a resume, because we kind of did that in the big group. In the main group, you guys have already written your resumes and you've turned them in. So I think you guys know the importance of why a hiring manager will start with a resume. They don't know you, right? So it's basically you on paper. Okay. So we'll start with the activity. Okay. So here's the scenario. We are hiring managers, right? And we're trying to add one more person, to our team. We have 50 applications. What we want to do is from the 50, we want to come up with 2 strong applicants that we can bring in for an interview. Okay. A lot of times, well, most of the time in organizations and even in businesses, what happens is they get more than 50 applications. Some places get 100, some get hundreds. And what they will do is kind of run those resumes through a system. And if the resumes don't have like keywords or key things or key skills, those are automatically eliminated. So when we're telling you, talking to you guys about resumes and your cover letters and the importance of being very intentional, that is why. I don't know of any organization, unless it's just like maybe grassroots or real small, that don't like do like a screening process of resumes. Okay, so I think someone talked about it in the main group. When it's real general, a lot of times a hiring manager would just throw it out, because in their minds, you're just trying to get a job. But they want somebody that's intentional, that really want to work that position. Okay, so we have 50 applications, and we run it through the system, our screening system, right? And what I'm going to do, again, we're going to choose, well, after we do, let's say we run it through we have 50, we run it through the screening process, we come up with 4. So out of the 50, we come up with the 4 best options. Now we're looking at resumes. Okay, so from the 4, it is our job now to pick 2 to bring into for an interview. Okay, so I'm going to share right now with you guys a description. You probably can't read that. That is so small. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. Can you guys see that? Or do I need to stop sharing my screen and do it? You guys see the actual job description?
No,
Yeah.
we can only see the
okay.
Google Slides.
Yep, I'm going to stop. Thank you. Let's see if we can do it this way. Do you guys see it now? It should say financial analyst job description. Yes?
Yes, we see it.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to take a look at the job description and write down, take note of some of the specific skills and qualities this particular job description is looking for. Okay, because that's going to be important when we go back and look at the resumes. Okay, so about 5 minutes. Okay. So. There you go. Okay, does anyone need any extra time? Are we all good? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, thanks, Jack. Alrighty. So now we're going to take a look at the 4 resumes that were chosen out of the 50. Okay. The first resume we're going to look at, and you're going to remember these names because again, my apologies. Again, we're going to basically rank the people in the order that we feel like should come in for the interview, like our top resumes. Okay. So the first one is Jane. I'm gonna give you guys some time to look at her overall information, and then we're gonna go down to her experience. So take a few notes on Jane Smith. Okay, that's some overall information. What we want to look at here are skills and some experience. So let's look at those. And then she has some more.
Would it be at all possible to just share these with us so we can refer back to them?
I don't know if I can share because I don't have access to the,
okay,
let me see if I can put it, I'm sorry. I don't think I have access to like the portal that they were talking about, Jack, but that's a good idea. Let me write it down so I can let Braven know. Maybe share with fellows. I'm gonna move it down a little. So she has 2 pages. So, yep, I think that's. Jack, once we go through the 4, I could definitely like go back to revisit any one of the applicants if you guys would like.
I'm just taking screenshots so I can refer back to myself if I need to.
Okay. But yeah, I'm going to definitely give you your idea because you're right. You guys should have access to this in front of you. Are we good with Jane? Can we move on to the next one? Yep. Okay. So Jane's our first one. Our second candidate is Simona. Okay, I'm going to move Simona's down a little bit so you can get the rest of it. Okay, right about here. Okay, can we move on to the next applicant? Are we done with Simona? Good? Okay. So Jane was our first, Simona's the second, John Doe is our third. That's his first half. John Doe's down a little bit so we can see the rest of his. Yeah, I think he's one page. I think. Oh, he got a little interest, but. All right, and then I think his went over a little bit. He asked down his interest. Okay, so we have Jane is number 1, Simone is 2, John Doe is 3, and then this is our 4th person. We have Helen. Alrighty. I think it's just like the last part of Helen's. Okay. So out of the 4, if you need me to go back and look at anyone in particular, I can do that. Out of the 4, what I want y'all to do right now is in the chat, I want you to rank the 4. So who's number 1? Who, to the top candidate, number 2, 3, and then the 4th being, I don't want to bring him in or her in for an interview. Who would you rank? How would you rank these 4? We have Jane, Simona, John, and Helen. And if you want to kind of look back at someone, just let me know. Okay, we got Pablo has Simona, Helen, John, then Jane. Anyone else? How would you rank them? Okay. Hugo, I see yours. Hugo has Helen, Simona, Jane, and then John. Okay. Oh, they coming in now. Jack has Helen, Simona, John, and then Jane. Trina has Helen, Simona, Jane, and John. Okay. Giselle and I see yours now, Giselle. Helen, Simona, Jane, and John. And Ion, what is your ranking? I kind of see the top two already though. Most of you picked in either your first or second, Helen and Simona. So Helen got 1, 2. Yeah, Helen got a few. And then Simona got 1. Can someone come off mute and tell me why you picked Helen as the number 1? Most of you picked her. So why was her resume the strongest in your opinion?
She had a lot of experience listed and it was very well formatted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else? Because most of you guys, if you didn't pick Helen number 1, you picked her 2. Anything else about Helen's resume? I'm going to stop sharing my screen and go back to my slides. Hold up. What about Simona? For those who picked Simona as number 2, why you picked Simona in the top 2? Don't all speak at once. I know y'all tired. I know. Why did you guys pick Simona?
I picked Simona because she had a pretty good resume. Even though Helen had more experience, that's why I put her first and Simona second. Okay.
Most of you, if not all, no, not all actually. Most of you had. No, wait. It's a tie. No, John was 4th for a lot of you. Can you guys tell me why was John? Anyone who picked John last, why was he like he didn't want him in the top 2? What was going on with his resume?
It wasn't well structured, and I don't know. I feel like his GPA, because it was low, it wasn't necessary. And I feel like when you see a low GPA, it's just like it's not as good as comparison to a higher GPA.
That's a good point. A lot of people miss that part of his resume. I've subbed for a few cohorts, and they missed that part. They were so focused on like his formatting. And then one more question: why wouldn't Jane be in the top 2? What was it about?
There's a lot of grammatical issues and typos,
okay,
and not very good impact statements.
That's good. Alrighty. And so here, can you guys see my screen? I'm sorry, I want to make sure it's not black. I went back to the slides. Can you guys see? Okay. So I wanted to show this actually after you guys looked at the resumes. But these are some things that you should have looked at in regards to their skills based on the job description that you read. So we want to find someone who has skills in budgeting, financial forecasting, that's a good a team player or team oriented, someone that can multitask, do several things, and then a good communicator. Experience was at least 2 years relevant. You guys did a really good job because you picked your top 2 based on their experience. And then one of the mindsets, my apologies, one of the mindsets is confident speaking with all levels of people at the company. I feel like you can see that in Helen's resume, because you've seen a lot of her leadership. She actually put that as a topic on her resume. So in leadership, you have to communicate and speak to, everyone in the company. So I think you guys did a really good job with that. The next thing we want to do is, now that we looked at the resumes, now that we've ranked the 4, we're going to look at the cover letters of our top 2. Okay, so I'm going to actually stop sharing again and make sure I pull it up. And this is where it'll come handy for you guys who still have to do your resume. Your cover letters. And even for those who actually got a chance to complete yours, you can use this information that we're about to go over now to revise your cover letter. Okay, so let's go to Simona. This is her cover letter. I'll let you guys see the top part of it. Kind of read through it. Get down a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, so that's Simona's. Let's take a look at Helen's. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. We're gonna also, even though we did not pick Jane and John, we're gonna take a look at their cover letters also really quick. So let's look at Jane. Let's do Jane first.
I started laughing at myself seeing it was written in Comic Sans. Like, okay.
I was trying to go past it real fast so y'all wouldn't see it, because I was gonna do him last, but yeah, it's comical. Okay, and then now let's look at John, everyone. I don't think we need to spend too much time on Johnny Boy here. Okay, now that we looked at resumes and now the cover letters, can you tell me out of the top, the two that we picked, or no, go ahead and rank it again. 1 being your top person and 4 being the least likely one that you would bring in for an interview. So let's rank them according to cover letters. You can put it in the chat. And if you need to see it again, any of the again, just let me know. But I think we got a good idea. Okay, Jack. Yours stayed the same. Oh, actually, you moved them around a little bit. I see the 3 and 4. Okay, Hugo. I see. Simona. Yep, yours stayed the same. Pablo. You switched up just a little bit. Pablo. Hugo. Jack. While everyone else is putting their ranks in the chat, can we talk a little bit about, some of you guys kind of switched up your 1 and 2, and it looks like again Helen is leading the way. So what was it about Helen's cover letter that stood out for you? I see you, Giselle. Okay. What stood out about Helen's cover letter? Many of you put her first. Let me see if we go down to it. Anything that made her cover letter like stand out for you? Okay, I got yours, Trina. Yep, it's kind of the same. Anything that was a little different from everyone else's. Go ahead, Pablo.
I like that she found out the hiring manager's name, dear Layla Fatemi.
Yep.
So that goes like above and beyond. Like you actually have to like do your research well.
Definitely.
Sometimes it's more than just searching it up on LinkedIn. Sometimes it's a thorough search to find their name.
That's
so
perfect.
In my opinion.
Yep, that is perfect. If you can, when you do your cover letter, a lot of times people put like to whom it may concern, or hiring manager, or something like that. But if you can find the name of the actual hiring manager, that's definitely a plus. Anybody else? What did you see with Helen's cover letter? And again, you're taking notes for when you write your cover letter. Like some of these things that we're noticing, about Helen's, which she has a really good cover letter. Some of these points you want to use when you're writing your cover letter.
She does a very good job of explaining the skills that her specific experience gave her.
Yes, she did an excellent job. Excellent job. A lot of times people's like, what's the point of a cover letter? I gave you my resume. You can go more into detail on some of the skills that particular position is looking for. She did a really good job. By each of her experience, she goes through and she hones in on the skills that she, developed through those positions. So that's really good, Jack. Now let's take a look at old Johnny boy. Just for the laughs of it. I know everybody's tired. Let's just, wake up a little bit. What is it about Johnny's, I just called him John, cover letter that sticks out for you? Jack already said he noticed. I was trying to go through so you guys won't look at it, but Jack already said it's comic script or whatever you call it. Everyone knows. My 11-year-old goddaughter knows to use Times Roman. Like, she knows that.
Okay, I'm trying to look past the thought and the grammatical stuff here, because that's pretty
obvious,
difficult.
Right?
But in the last paragraph on the screen here, he's trying to explain his experience, but he's just going in circles. He's not actually saying anything.
John just threw this together, and you can tell. He did, like, oh, I see this job, let me go ahead and apply to it. He just threw it together. And like you said, Jack said, you going in circles, what are you talking about? And I'll tell you now, with a hiring manager, you got 100 applicants, or applications or cover letters and resumes you got to go through. They're not wasting their time. When they looked and saw the font, that went in the garbage. That went in the trash. And anybody that looked a little bit past that, the first line, like, what are you talking about, John? So yeah, let's not be like John. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. You guys would never. But yeah, I believe also, and this is just in my observation, as I've done Learning Lab 7 with like 4 or 5 other cohorts. Simona had a really good cover letter also. I think her cover letter act for me, it did a little bit more than Helen's in that you can kind of see Simona's, she's enthusiastic, if you get what I'm saying. If you can kind of read that from her cover letter, I think that's what makes her stand out a little bit more with the cover letter itself. Yes, Helen had more experience and Helen had a really good cover letter, but it's something about the way it's written for Simona that she seems like excited, about the position. So, but yes, guys, your top people are Helen and Simona. Let's go back to the slides really quick. So I'm gonna stop sharing for just a moment, and let's get back to the slides. Let me see. Alrighty. Okay, can you guys see my slides? I want to make sure it's not a black screen. Yep, okay, thank you. So we've ranked those. We went through the cover letters. This is just some things that I think you guys need, the ones who are writing your cover letter for the first time. Some key points that are going to be very important. I think some of you guys have already pointed out formatting. I'll say this. I spoke to a few graders, Braven graders, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell y'all this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Braven gives you templates to put your resume and your cover letter on. You get points. They give you like 5 points for using the template. So when they're grading with the points, keep that in mind. That when you use their template, the grader is giving you 5 extra points just for using the template alone. Okay? So there are templates that are provided for your cover letter, just as those were provided for your resume. Okay? Of course, we're looking for 12 point, well, it says 11 to 12. Sometimes you can go to 11 if you have a little bit too much. The formatting is very important. They're looking at keeping consistent spacing between paragraphs, and of course, no typos. If you got to get someone else to look at it, because sometimes our brain is typing something and we may miss that typo because we know what we meant. Maybe you want to get somebody to look at it. There's also a tool that that was mentioned in the main group, that big interview tool. You can run a resume and a cover letter through that. I ended up using it last semester for something, just to see, and it gave me some really good pointers. And then just the content of a cover letter. A lot of times, the issue is some people like, I don't even know what to write in a cover letter. You got everything on a resume. So these are some key points that you want to look at when you're writing your cover letter. Be enthusiastic, just like I believe Simona really was. Like, act like you want the job, you know? Like, act like you're excited about the job. You're excited to be brought onto the team. Write in a professional, engaging tone. Address a specific person. We saw that with some of the cover letters. Identify the role being sought within the first paragraph. So we saw that with Simona for sure, and Helen. I believe Jane did it too. Like the first paragraph where they're basically saying, you know, I'm applying for this position, and they write a little bit, you know, something about why they feel like they're will be a good fit. Okay, what else? Identify 2 of your strongest qualifications. So it's going to be key when you're applying to an internship, a job, residence, any of that. Look and see, look at the job description itself and see what they're looking for, you know, and then see how you match that. Alrighty. We're not going to do the cover letter screening because some of you guys haven't done it yet. I'm actually going to give you some time to do. You guys going to have some time. We're going to actually have a lot of time by the time we finish this, because that would have took like 30 minutes for you guys to work on your cover letter or revise it. Okay. So we've already talked about, out of the 4 candidates, we picked 2. We've already discussed the reasons why, looking at the resume and the cover letter. And according to this, you guys did a great job. The recommendation is for Simona and Helen to come in for an interview. Okay? And these are the reasons why these 2 women were chosen. 1, relevant experience. Both have strong backgrounds directly aligned with the financial analyst role. 2, they have tailored applications or tailored resumes and cover letters that are specific to the job description itself. They both had demonstrated skills. They showcased their highly relevant qualifications and provided concrete examples. Helen did a really good job of this. I think Jack may have pointed that out, or Pablo. One of you guys did. Professional tone. Both maintain a professional, engaging tone throughout their application. And then the last key point is clear interest. They both were clearly expressed enthusiasm and understanding the role and the company itself. Righty. Do you guys have any questions or like any comments about the activity that we just went through? How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about now that we went through this activity? How do you feel on? And I always say a scale 1 to 5. I do that even with my god kids. I got a lot of them, and I'm like, you know, if I cook something on a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think? You know, sometimes they be like a 2. You ate it though, but I always do 1 through 5. So on a scale of 1 through 5, how do you feel about now writing your cover letter? How comfortable do you feel with writing your cover letter after this activity? Scale 1 to 5. 1 being I still am lost, and 5 being I'm ready. You can come off mute or you can put it in the chat. Scale 1 to 5. 4. That's good, Jack. Jack, I think you were ready before us, though, honestly. Trina 3 and Giselle 3. That's fair. Hugo is a 4. That's great. And Pablo is a 3. Thank you guys so much for your participation. Like I said, I know you guys are so tired. You guys are dealing with midterms. You want to sleep. I know. And the last thing you feel like doing is sitting here somebody talk about some cover letters. I'm just trying to pass my midterms and get to April. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you guys time to actually work on your cover letter since we didn't, everybody's not done, because I can't let you leave. If I could let you leave, I would say goodbye and have a wonderful weekend. But because we have to return back to the main group, I'm going to just give you guys the time to work on your cover letter. I'll still be here. I'm going to go on mute, but I'll be here if you have any questions, or if you have a cover letter and you want me to read over and give you feedback, I can do that too. Okay? Because we have about 25 minutes left. I'm not good at math, guys. Yeah, we have about 25 minutes left. So I'll give you guys the time to work on or revise your cover letter.
There is a timer up in the corner of my screen.
Right there. Jack, what would I have done without you today? I really appreciate you. Yeah, so 23 minutes. I'm over here trying to do math and hurting my brain. We have 22 minutes left. So with that 22 minutes, let's I'll give you guys time to revise or start your cover letter. Okay? And then I'll be here if you guys want to. I can give you feedback on, once you revise it based on what we just went over and you want somebody to look at it, I can take a look for you. Okay? You guys have any questions for me? Alrighty, so I'll go on mute. You guys could get me in the chat if you need me. And then I'll come back when we have just maybe 3 minutes left. Okay. Maybe 3 minutes left to, say our goodbyes. Okay? It's at 12:15, so it's 11:15 my time.